Hey you all, and good morning. Coming to you live from the state of Texas and the state of Arkansas simultaneously. If you look at my feet, one of my feet, this foot is in Arkansas, this foot is in Texas, because we are in Texarkana, which straddles the state line right there between Texas and Arkansas. This is actually the post office that services Texarkana, and it is the only federal building that is in two different states. The post office serves the simultaneous community. I'm a little unclear. Is Texarkana, is it technically two cities, or is it one city? How does that even work? So what you're seeing over here, this side of the street is Texas. This side of the street is Arkansas. So yeah, just walk across the street and you are in a completely different state. I definitely find this sort of thing to be very fascinating. As we speak, I am dramatically crossing back and forth into two different states. I'm in Arkansas, I'm in Texas, I am in Arkansas, and once again, I am in Texas. But seriously, I do think I've spent too much time in Texas. I have been traveling through Texas for 2 days straight, so you know what? I'm gonna head over here to Arkansas, because we gotta get home, and Arkansas is technically closer to home. This is the final stretch. I am headed home to the bunker today. I am gonna be driving. We are quite a ways from home right now, unfortunately, but I'll be headed home. I have my tooth surgery tomorrow morning, so I'm gonna go home, go to sleep, wake up, and then get these teeth yanked out, and then I will try to recover. I don't know how long my recovery will be, but when I recover, I will head back out on the road and continue this world tour of mine that never seems to end. But yeah, let's get one last good look. It's actually a wonderful looking building here, old school building. I would go inside and show you guys what's going on in there, but there is like security guards and everything like that, so I don't know if they necessarily like for the inside to be a tourist attraction. But yeah, let's get on the road and start taking that long, lonesome road back to the bunker. We've stopped off here in Fouke, Arkansas, which is the home of the Boggy Creek Monster, a very violent and terrifying version of the Sasquatch. And they actually have a gas station here dedicated to the Boggy Creek Monster. You can see that giant Sasquatch head here on top of the gas station. The gas pumps over here. You can get a close look at that Boggy Creek Monster. I like how he's just super furry with the eyes poking out. We have another Sasquatch bursting forth from the side of the building. Up here on the sign we have a Sasquatch riding a pig. There we go. Entering the building here, you can see the cypress knees sticking out. Here in the back of the Monster Mart, they have a little museum here dedicated to the Fouke Monster, or Boggy Creek Monster, whatever you prefer to call him. The mural there with the hanging Spanish moss. Some pictures of the monster getting drunk on moonshine with a frog, and there he is riding another pig. Now, the Boggy Creek Monster is actually made famous by the film The Legend of Boggy Creek. There's been some follow-up films as well. Boggy Creek 2 Then there's Return to Boggy Creek, which is a G-rated adventure for the entire family. This says, it came from the woods of Boggy Creek. Okay, that's a new CD. And what's this here? We have like a Sasquatch here in a glass casket. Here we have some full-sized Fouke monster replicas. This one here is extra shaggy. Get this big massive one here, and then we got a little guy here. I don't know what he's doing. That wasp nest, if he's like eating it like a lollipop. Here's a little replica of the very store we are in. See the big Sasquatch on the marquee. Here's a collection of Sasquatch casts of their feet. Up here, that's this one right here is the Fouke monster. Some interesting items in this case. Got a little monster there. Not sure whether there's a piranha next to a coconut right there. Various bones and skulls. Some amazing Sasquatch merchandise over here. In fact, they have the world's tiniest Bigfoot, and you can actually even get a little terrarium right there that has Bigfoot in it. There's some swamp water from the actual Boggy Creek. Oh, look at this snow globe here. Sasquatch. Here's a grow your own Sasquatch. Just put him in water and he grows big. Sasquatch finger feet. You have a Sasquatch bobblehead there. Oh, these are from Archie McPhee. The Zen Bigfoot meditating. The Bigfoot action figure. Surprisingly robust collection of Bigfoot air fresheners. Of course, Bigfoot not necessarily known for his fresh smell. We have Hunt Brothers Pizza, the famed gas station pizza. Maybe today's the day. So Hunt Brothers Pizza. For years I've decried the idea of getting pizza from a gas station. My friend John has a channel known as Exploration Unknown. He told me, he said, Hunt Brothers Pizza, it's actually pretty good. And I scoffed at him. I'm like, can gas station pizza be good? He said yes. I said, really? He said yes. And I put it off. I wanted to take the dive, see how it is, but I put it off. And I figured Monster Mart is the perfect place to finally try a piece of Hunt Brothers gas station pizza. Let's see, it's kind of thick crust. Okay. A little bit of a frozen pizza taste, but it's more robust, more toppings. This is the, what kind of is this? This is the extra meaty, I think. Lots of meat. We got the meaty, the sausage with pepperoni and bacon. You know, I probably wouldn't make a special trip or a special stop to get Hunt Brothers Pizza, but on a pinch, I think this would do nicely if you're craving pizza. You stop at a gas station. It seems pretty fresh. It's not stale or weird. So, surprisingly good. Surprisingly good. Hunt Brothers, I'm sorry I doubted you. Stopping off here at the Arkansas Welcome Center to say hello to a friend. Yeah, I wanted to say hello to #ARCoolCat. Last time I was here was Easter time and he was dressed up like the Easter Bunny. It looks like ARCoolCat is getting ready for Valentine's Day. #ARCoolCat. This quote-unquote otter also wearing some Valentine's Day headgear. Check this out. They gave me a pin for my hat. So let's help AR Cool Cat blow up on social media. Use that hashtag AR Cool Cat if you come out here and take a picture of him, and make sure you tag me in any social media. We are here in Hope, Arkansas, and look at this. The boyhood home of Bill Clinton. Of course, Bill Clinton, born in Hope, Arkansas. He referred to himself as the man from a place called Hope. It says here Bill Clinton lived in this house with his mother and his stepfather Roger Clinton from 1950 until 1953. It says that family moved to Hot Springs, Arkansas in 1953, which is interesting because he always, in interviews, always says that he is from Hope, but technically he spent his majority of his life growing up in Hot Springs, Arkansas. Some people say that maybe he liked to use the word, liked to use the town Hope just because it sounded a little more poetic. I don't think I've ever seen a train move quite that slow. So stopped off in Hot Springs, Arkansas, right here on kind of the main drag. Across the street there you have different shops and attractions, and on this side there's actually a very teeny tiny national park, Hot Springs National Park. And this is where they have all these old bathhouses. People used to come to Hot Springs to soak in the hot, mineral-rich water that spews forth from the ground. As you can see, some of these old bathhouses are very ornate. And look at this, a Zoltar here. It's actually wearing some different clothes than the normal Zoltar wears. He's got that snazzy silver vest. Usually he's wearing the purple vest, but still needs our cash. So let's give him, there we go.
Zoltar the Gypsy, at your service. Today is your lucky day, my friend, for I have a fortune especially for you. Listen closely. Sometimes you can tell a wise person not only by what he says, but also by what he doesn't say. Remember, it is much better to say little than to say too much and regret it later. Give Zoltar your treasure. I have much wisdom to share with you.
I wanted to stop off here at one of my favorite attractions in Hot Springs, Josephine Tussaud's Wax Museum. This is an old school wax museum. Over here in the window, we have a wax bust of Josephine Tussaud. She is a descendant of Marie Tussaud. See, Josephine Tussaud lived until 1985. So the hair is human hair. The eyes are optical glass. I'm glad they're not real eyes. Look over in the corner, I think is that Alice from Alice in Wonderland? Up here, we have in the window, we have George W. Bush and his father, George H.W. Bush. You think here in Hot Springs that have a Clinton. All right, as we enter here, we have Steve McQueen on his motorcycle. And this is the Stairway of the Stars. You see, it's actually an old escalator here that takes us up to the top there. The escalator no longer functions, but it is covered in wax figures. See at the very bottom of the escalator, you have Barack Obama with Jimmy Carter looking over his shoulder. And as we walk up the escalator here, we have Clark Gable. That is Mae West, famed movie starlet. And then a very young Elizabeth Taylor, and I'm not sure who this guy is. He doesn't have a name tag, but that's Elizabeth Taylor. I'm not sure who this gentleman is. And then Sophia Loren there, Louis Armstrong blasting away with his trumpet. We have the Pope, Pope John Paul II, right at the top of the escalator. And then, of course, the tippy top, we have Jesus. Last Supper scene here. So we have all the apostles here eating. Looks like there's not much on their plates, just some unleavened bread maybe. And there's Jesus in the center. And then there's that no good Judas. Oh, is that, like you see in his hand, he's got that bag of money. I think that's the money he used to betray Jesus. For this scene, we have the Pieta, Mother Mary holding Jesus. Now this is a really fun scene here. It's Carrie Nation, the famed prohibitionist. She traveled around to different bars with an axe, smashing them to pieces to fight the evils of alcohol. And look, this poor flapper here, she hardly knows what hit her. And robbing this bank here, we have Jesse James and Frank James. Of course, Jesse James, the famed outlaw, and Frank James is Garfunkel. All right, we have an important decision to make. Do we enter the Chamber of Horrors over here to the left, or do we go to the horror bypass? I think we better bypass it. It's far too scary. I'm just kidding. We're gonna do this Chamber of Horrors. Don't you think that's a good idea, Alfred? We see some of the legends of horror here. Frankenstein, this horrifying werewolf here in this graveyard. We have a grave-robbing, hunchbacked ghoul pulling that dead corpse out of the ground. And then peeking out of this crypt is Mr. Dracula himself. This is an old staple of old wax museums. The torture chamber area. You can see this skeleton locked here in this body cage. You can see the graphic scenes of torture here. This guy has had his face horribly blistered. He's got a metal thing around his neck. I don't even know what happened to this poor guy here. And look at that. Oh my gosh. There's the ant torture. This guy here is completely covered with ants. He's been buried down to his waist, and the ants have just been allowed to prance all over his face, biting and guzzling his flesh. This is known simply as the Algerian hook. Basically just a big hook they stick through your body. Here we have the nefarious pendulum as it swings back and tortures the victim here, just barely missing. Here's Abraham Lincoln along with his wife, Mary Todd. They're just enjoying a nice night at the theater. Wait a minute, the theater? Oh no, watch out. Behind you, Abe. It's John Wilkes Booth, and he's got a very tiny derringer that he's going to shoot you in the head with. Now we head into the Hall of Battles, greeted by Napoleon himself, also George Washington. And here is Teddy Roosevelt on San Juan Hill. Prior to becoming president, he fought the Spanish, rode his horse and his Rough Riders in to fight the Spanish with a very stylish pith helmet. I love this interpretive display here. You have U.S. Grant, the commander of the Union Army, sitting here in the tent. But as this tent gradually rotates, wait for it, I think there's someone on the other side. See the rotating disc right there? Oh, and here he comes. It is Robert E. Lee, the Confederate general. Wait a minute, is he actually sneaking up on Grant behind his tent? Here's a scene from World War II as the winners, Winston Churchill, Franklin Roosevelt, Charles de Gaulle, and Joseph Stalin. They're all sitting here in this blown out building. There's a doll there on the floor. I guess they're just partying in this old abandoned house and celebrating the fact that they won the war. And FDR is like, who invited Stalin? And here's the actual discovery of the hot springs here in Hot Springs, Arkansas. This is not Ponce de Leon. This is Hernando de Soto discovering the hot springs there. This Native American's probably saying, yeah, we knew about that. That's no big secret. And he's like, but I discovered it. And here we have Hot Springs, Arkansas's famous. And here we have Hot Spring, Arkansas's most famous resident, Mr. Bill Clinton, his wife, Hillary. And I think this may be the only new wax figure since I've been here last. We have Donald Trump. Here's the Kennedy family. There's John F. Kennedy there in the middle, along with Jackie Kennedy. There is Bobby Kennedy and Ted Kennedy right there. Enter the Royal Grand Hall, where we see some of the famous non-Americans here in the Wax Museum. Oh, there's an American. Yeah, there is Richard Nixon and Pat Nixon, and they are shaking hands with the royal family. Prince Charles and Richard Nixon there shaking hands, along with Princess Diana, Elizabeth II, and Prince Philip. Oh, and here is the crown jewels. Some figures in European history. Henry VIII, Anne Boleyn. She's the one that said, let them eat cake, I believe. There's Elizabeth I, and Marie Antoinette famously had her head chopped off, I think. Here is Martin Luther King Jr. We actually celebrated his holiday earlier this week. We see a display of explorers here. There's Ervil.
Is on the moon.
A display of explorers here. Wilbur and Orville Wright sitting there in the woods contemplating inventing the airplane. There's Charles Lindbergh taking advantage of that creation and flying over the ocean. And then Neil Armstrong taking things a giant leap forward as he hops aboard the moon. Then we have Captain Genius here, Mr. Albert Einstein. You see those flashing lights there and that trademark jumpsuit, Mr. Elvis Presley. And now we head downstairs to the world of make-believe. Down in this pit, we have the no-good goblin Rumpelstiltskin as he spins straw into gold, all while the miller's daughter is sleeping. Here's two no-good scamps, Mr. Tom Sawyer and Huck Finn. Looks like Tom's chomping on that apple, and Huck Finn is whitewashing the fence there. And then there is their master and creator, Mr. Mark Twain, getting to hang out with his own fictional creations. Oh wow, look at that. Got the pumpkin carriage, Cinderella right there. So that is the fairy godmother. Oh, we can peek in the window here of Geppetto's toy shop. It's actually animated. Got the button here. So let's see, there's Geppetto. And there is his son, Pinocchio. Let's push that button in, and if you look very closely, you can see his arms going up and down. Here we have the Mad Tea Party. Alice down there at the end with her cup of tea, the Dormouse, the Mad Hatter, the March Hare. But watch out, lurking here in the forest is the Queen of Hearts and the King of Hearts. Oh my gosh, look at the horror. We head into this mine, we can see Snow White, and we have the dwarves in here as well. That is Happy, the dwarf right there. Man, he looks happy. And here we have dopey and sleepy, sitting there with a very, very tiny taxidermy deer. And here we have the rest of the dwarves. That is Bashful, I think. Who's this coming up? Is that Grumpy? Is that, okay, I think that one's Sneezing. I think that's Sneezy. And I don't know who that one is, I'm sorry. A little side exhibit here on the city of Hot Springs. Of course, it was a gambling hotspot. It was actually kind of a hideout resort town for gangsters. So you see some of the casino items there, the dice, the cards, the bingo. There's dice from all the major casinos in Hot Springs. You could see how many different casinos there was at one point. Here's some of the slot machines they had here at the Southern Club. Here's the man himself, Al Capone. Would love to come to Hot Springs and bathe in the hot waters. As we exit through the gift shop, have these squeeze Sasquatches. Did they have these at the Monster Mart? I don't remember. Were they? Oh, he's like squeaky. Now before we leave Hot Springs, Arkansas, we should take some of that hot spring water with us. And believe it or not, they just have an open spigot here in the streets where you can take free water with you. And so I got this Diet Dr. Pepper bottle, and I guess I'll fill it up with some of that magic hot spring water. Okay, so I got the bottle there. I guess we hit this button. We fill up. Oh, okay. Gotta balance it a little better there. Okay, got it not centered quite right. There we go. It's filling up. You can see the steam rising off that water. It's super hot. The bottle fills up there. I think it's just a little bit off balance. There we go. Okay. There we go. Whoa. All right. You can take that, cap it, and then we can take this magic spring water home with us. There we go. I don't know, does it look a little off to you? Is there still maybe, did I maybe leave some Dr. Pepper in the bottle? Ooh, that's warm on my hands. Ooh, it's hot. Hot. I'm gonna put it down for a second. Stopped off here for some dinner at McClard's Barbecue. This is apparently Bill Clinton's favorite barbecue. Now, another interesting thing about McClard's is their barbecue sauce. Apparently, a poor traveler was traveling through Hot Springs and was asked to stay at a hotel and did not have the money to afford to stay there, and he offered a barbecue sauce recipe in exchange for board, and the hotel gave him the board in exchange for the barbecue sauce recipe, and then the barbecue sauce recipe was used to start the restaurant here in the 1920s, McClard's, and it has been a massive success. So who was that stranger, and where did he get the magic barbecue sauce? Of course, when we were in Clarksdale, Mississippi, we went to a barbecue place that purported to have a recipe of barbecue sauce given to them by Jesus. Maybe the traveler was Jesus, and he gave them the recipe for barbecue sauce. You can see Bill Clinton with the staff here. But look who else has eaten at McClard's. It's new Dwight from The Office and Leatherface. And Leatherface knows barbecue. All right, went with the ribs and fries. Actually served the fries on top of the ribs, and these look like some juicy, thick ribs back here. Oh, some meaty ribs. All right, let's try this rib. It's got that magic sauce on it. That sauce is really amazing. Spicy, vinegary sauce. Try some of these fries as well. That is so good. That is so good. Really amazing. All right, I devoured all the rib meat and most of the fries. I did not eat my green onion. I finally made it back to the bunker. It is, what time is it? It is 6:30 a.m. I have my tooth surgery in 5 hours. I'm gonna edit this video as quickly as I can, and then I'm gonna grab possibly an hour or two of sleep, and I'm gonna have those teeth removed from my head. I have no idea what the recovery time is. So I'm gonna have to take a little bit of a break, but we've had a good time here, haven't we? Been on the road 21 days. I have been traveling in my car. Where did we go? We did the Carpetbagger Choose My Adventure road trip. You guys sent me to the Arctic cold of Cedar Rapids, Iowa. We went down to St. Louis, Missouri. We met the Billiken. Continued down the mighty Mississippi to Memphis, Tennessee, where I ate a burger cooked in 100-year-old grease. Down to the wacky, zany city of New Orleans, Louisiana. And then you voted to send me west to Corpus Christi, Texas. We climbed aboard a battleship full of mannequins. Then west, further west, all the way to Las Vegas, Nevada. And I raced back across the country, desperately filming whatever I could. And I've landed back here. So yeah, I'm gonna be taking a little bit of time off. When I feel better, I will get back on the road and we will have more adventures. I will post an update, maybe a brief update regarding my teeth, regarding the future, when I can. But yeah, until next time, this one's in the bag.